Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Compliance Plus. I am Achinti, a qualified and experienced person in compliance. In today's presentation, we will discuss the difference between basics of compliance and fundamentals of compliance. First of all, I would say having a proper deep shared understanding of these two terms is a responsibility of the stakeholders, since it will help the organization to develop and continue a stable compliance management system by preventing failures at all times. We must understand that most of the time people treat these two different terms as same. In a business context or in a casual conversation, these two terms are often used interchangeably. While in a professional, regulatory, or training context, a technical distinction exists, primarily revolving around depth, structure, and application. Therefore, fundamentals of compliance refers to the core structural principles and underlying mechanisms of a compliance program, whereas basics of compliance refers to introductory knowledge and essential entry-level tasks. So in order to achieve a detailed understanding, let's go back to basics before focusing on more advanced and complex concepts of compliance. Basics of compliance. Basics of compliance triggers the act of understanding what is compliance and why. Basics of compliance means recognizing and understanding what is compliance and involves the core definition and scope of the function. In other words, getting a surface level understanding of adhering to legal requirements, internal policies, procedures, and ethical standards. In practice, what focuses on having an initial understanding of the act of adhering to applicable laws, rules, industry standards, internal policies by focusing on meeting specific requirements. And why focuses on avoiding penalties when meeting operational or daily requirements. So let's be real. By knowing your basics of compliance, you shall facilitate the smooth operational requirements, plus you shall act as a line of defense by preventing and detecting potential violations and following proper reporting channels when something wrong is identified, which is a responsibility of each and every stakeholder of the entity. This can be considered as a reactive approach since it focuses on meeting requirements after a system is established. Fundamentals of compliance. Fundamentals of compliance dive deeper into how and why. It explains the mechanism used to achieve the status of compliance and the reason why it is necessary. In other words, fundamentals of compliance represents the necessary framework and the structural pillars that turns policies into action. The mechanism involves the practical implementation of required compliance systems, processes, controls, procedures, training, and creating a strong ethical culture according to the compliance program to ensure ethical operations, which facilitate to build up trust among stakeholders and to maintain reputation in order to achieve business stability and to prevent penalties. Further, fundamentals of compliance focus on strategy, system, and values, which encompasses the essential principles in order to form a complete compliance system, to adhere to a set of laws, rules, regulations, and standards, and ethical guidelines. The core pillars of an effective compliance program are governance structure and oversight, including compliance leadership, compliance risk management, document and approved policies and procedures, training and education, monitoring and auditing, effective line of communication, enforcement and discipline, and response and corrective action plan for prevention. This system can be considered as a proactive management system which understands the intent behind regulations and prevent violations and fraud before it takes place. General responsibility. Basics of compliance is for employees who need to understand their daily responsibilities and what they are legally permitted to do. Fundamentals of compliance is for Board of Directors, Board Risk Committee, Compliance Officer and the team, and managers responsible for designing, auditing and enforcing compliance program. That's all for today's discussion on understanding basics of compliance and fundamentals of compliance. If you like this video, please press the like button and share and subscribe my Compliance Plus channel for more informative discussions. Thank you.